Hey guys, what's going on? Durangus here, and today we're going back to 2013. That is, this game came out in 2013, and it is called Receiver. Receiver was an indie game, very small development team in a very short amount of time, and it was actually part of a contest. I just want to give you the premise. I want to give you some of the basics and just show you a little bit of the gameplay. The premise is that you are a receiver and you're able to, you're sort of the woke group of people, and that the media and major corporations have subverted us all into total mind control. And so what we are doing is shooting two types of robotic enemies and picking up cassette tapes. So it's you know, I mean, it was made in a short amount of time, but it is a fun game and it's a pretty rewarding game. So this is a roguelike co-op first-person shooter. Co-op being a dexterity game, roguelikes being very difficult, a lot of dying and respawning. And the roguelike element is that you respawn with random gear. And the first-person shooter element, of course, that's pretty self-explanatory. When you spawn, you have different gear every time. This time I have a revolver. So let's go ahead and get the revolver mechanics out of the way. Now you'll notice up in the right, actually, 0 tapes absorbed out of 11. So the goal is to get 11 tapes, and once you get that 11th tape, the game is over.
There is mind tech, which is used to control the boundless luminescence. Mind tech can be used for good or evil. Threat has been using its mind.
I have never done it. I've seen people online or on YouTube that have done it. It's incredibly difficult, and I'll get into some of the sort of bullshit elements of this game, because there's some. I mean, it's a game that is rewarding but will piss you off. So, our revolver. Now you have to actually do everything manually on these firearms. There's a long list of commands. For example, there's a button just to open our cylinder, and it randomly will have a certain amount of bullets in it. We have 1. So we'll need to load those with another button, and then shut the cylinder with another button, and then another button to pull the hammer back. So now that our firearm is ready to go, we can get to it. Okay, so here we have our Glock type gun. Now there's 3 guns in the game. I showed the revolver. This is the Glock. The Glock, this is actually a semi/fully automatic pistol. You'd have to be some kind of savage to run full auto because you waste too much ammo. The mechanics of the semi-automatic pistols are very similar, so I'm just going to show this one. Basically, the functions are the same as the 1911, except that switching from full auto to semi-auto on this gun would be the safety on the 1911. So there actually is a safety in this game. That's kind of interesting, I think. Anyways, we're in single fire mode now. Now the way that these guns work is you have to do magazine management. So they've started us with 1 magazine, and it looks like 1 or 2 bullets max in this gun. Interestingly, you actually have to check the chamber on the semi-automatics. To do that, you have to do this little fluttering combination of T and R. And we can see there's nothing in the chamber. We can go ahead and load one in the chamber. You can actually even see the round approaching the chamber. I think that's pretty cool. And once you get the mechanics of this game, it's very rewarding. It feels good once you're not having to think about the keys to press in a sort of firearms simulator fashion. In that regard, it's really rewarding. It's almost like when you get good at Ninja Gaiden or something. So let's actually see how many rounds they gave us in general. So we got to take our magazine out, holster the gun, and now we actually have to load the magazine. Some of my friends think that is just the dumbest thing they've ever seen. And I don't have any friends who think otherwise, except for myself. There's something enjoyable about it all to me. You'll find things on the ground. Things are just sort of hidden. Here we have some bullets and a tape. Now, graphically speaking, the game is pretty bad. It has a very Time Splitters 2 vibe, which is a game from a long time ago, like PlayStation 2. So there's no textures, and they made it over like a weekend. I think that was part of the contest, so I'm not really holding that against them. And also, I don't really care. I mean, if the game's fun, I'm okay with that. Bullshit element number 1. All these bullshit elements have something to do with the ways that you die. You'll get a nice roll going, and then you'll get killed in a way that is really dumb. And a lot of times, like say right now, I've jumped up on this ledge. Well, you'll need to do that to like sort of scout the area out. And usually, like, you would want to creep up on an edge here, right? That's normal in a game to creep up on an edge so that you don't fall off of it. I mean, this is like standard first-person shooter fare. Now watch what happens as I do that. Dead. Well, it looks like I'm a moron and I just went flying off the side, but actually, that was this game's sprinting mechanic. Okay? So the sprint mechanic, instead of holding shift to sprint like a reasonable video game, this one you actually have to tap forward, and everything is manual. So like I have to make my feet I have to literally tap for my Lamborghinis to activate. So if I just hold, you'll walk speed if I just hold W. And to run, I have to tap it. Well, not only am I getting carpal tunnel, but it just sends my guy flying into space half the time. And that'll really piss you off whenever you have about 8 tapes and you're getting pretty far along. Okay, the next thing that will piss you off in this game is the lighting. Yeah, there is like a flashlight. Here it is. And actually, it's an okay light. I mean, it flares out when you get a distance, and it fades, and it does concentrate and actually produce some glare effect. But the lighting, more often than not, you walk into a room and you might hear an enemy, but the sound in this game is not quite good enough to actually figure out where the enemies are, and you will die from that. This lighting is no joke, especially when you don't get a flashlight. What happens oftentimes is most of your game is like this. I'm having to actually turn my video editing software to the maximum brightness so you can even see what's happening here. And it probably still looks bad. Take that, you bitch. The third major pisser in this game is going to be, it's a randomly generated game, and what I can only figure is that the map sort of goes on forever. Sort of like that map on Super Mario Brothers, where if you don't take the right path, it just goes on forever. Something like that. But the pisser has to deal with when it loads a new map. Oftentimes what happens is the game glitches out, but for some reason the enemies are still allowed to fly around, and that'll get your ass killed. It's bullshit. So, especially when you've got a lot of the tapes and you're doing really good, and then it's another one of these stupid things that kills you. Another thing that'll replace your blood in your veins with piss is when you walk into an area and it'll put an enemy right above you or immediately to the side. Especially combine that with that freezing problem like that, and then you're dead. Big time. So I guess reason like 5 or 6 that you'll get pissed off is this revolver. First of all, you might as well just kill yourself and restart. Another thing that'll piss you off is the stairs. I can't explain it. It's like the maps don't line up right, and sometimes what happens is you walk right into a stair and it'll go up, and other times your guy does that deal where he can't quite get his foot over the top, which I see that in a lot of games where I call it getting hung up on pebbles. I mean, look at this shit. All I want to do is get up the stairs. Half the time this will get you killed. I hear a bad guy coming right now. Let's see. Oh, wow. Well, not this time, but still, this is bullshit. Looks like I'm humping. Another totally bogus thing in the game is that the default settings, as I'll show you here, actually don't have, there's a setting, lock gun to screen center. Well, if you didn't know that was there, check this out. Look how this shit aims. It's terrible. I mean, I guess they were going for like if your hands were swinging around in front of your face, you wouldn't have to, move your body around or anything. You could actually have some ability to move the gun. It just makes it really hard to figure out what's going to happen with the screen, and I find I just cannot hit what I want to hit this way. So, first tip, go in and put it on the setting it should be. And get that shit Doom style. Now I'm definitely doing more complaining than I am praise. It's actually a really fun game. Once you figure out the mechanics of the game, it is quite rewarding, and it's one of those games that I enjoy playing when, say, my friends and I are going to get online and play some other cooperative or multiplayer game, and they're not on yet. So I'll pop this bad boy in, and I'll just goof around. I guess it brings my blood to a boil before I can even get into the multiplayer. My friends wonder why I'm so angry all the time. Maybe I should quit playing games like this. Well, anyways, this is just my take on the game. Give it a try. It's damn hard. I mean, I think I've only ever got 8 out of the 11 tapes or something like that. And usually what happens is I go flying off the side of reality like this. So, goodbye, world.